Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm Astara, publisher of Flower of Life Press, and I'm here with Mary Kathleen McKenna, author of Following the Cycles of the Moon and Whistling Up the South Wind and Sarabi's Story, and many more books coming through Kathy's channel. And today we're here to talk a little bit about her book, Following the Cycles of the Moon, and some of the symbolism which she is now showing here on this note card that we've created from some of the themes of the book. So, welcome, Kathy.
Thank you, and it's a joy to be here with you again.
Yeah, so do you want to tell us a little bit about what we're looking at here, this particular note card, and why you decided to expand on the symbolism in the book itself into another way of expressing that?
I did the same thing for Whistling Up the South Wind. And for those of you who have read Whistling Up the South Wind, hopefully you've also read Following the Cycles of the Moon, which is the second in the Women of Wisdom series. And I'm part-time working on the Gazing at the Stars, which will be the third in the series, but I've also diverted time to working on my Pets with Wisdom series, which is right at this point, Sarabi's story, a Maine Coon cast perspective on life, love, and family. And writing and doing a quality job and being able to get your thoughts on paper and to create a book is not something that's done fast. It takes time and it takes a lot of solitary time as well. And so, in the process of that, I want to keep my creative energies going beyond the writing. And we came up together quite a while ago now, the idea of doing note cards that would be for Whistling Up the South Wind. And since we've done those and done them for Sarabi's story, thought we really needed to do them for Following the Cycles of the Moon. And for me, creating the postcards it's been a visual experience, which I love as we created them together. And I really thought of them as needed at this time because they're intended to be healing for women and also hopefully challenging women in a small way to try to connect back to their ancestors, their foremothers, and to see nature and to see the world around them a little differently through the eyes of the note card.
Yeah, and so tell us about this image, Kathy, where tell us a little bit about what made you decide on this type of image that we're using here. What are the themes here that relate to the story in following the cycles of the moon?
Well, in Following the Cycles of the Moon is really Granny Rose's story. It's the precursor to Whistling Up the South Wind. And it is the journey. Granny Rose, even in Whistling Up the South Wind, had died and has left a lot of work for Anna Marie to actually, what she does in Following the Cycles is through a long thinking process, ends up back down in Louisiana, outside of New Orleans, in that general area, where she connects not only to Granny Rose's past and learns so much about Granny Rose, who, for me, in the writing of the first book, Granny Rose was always my favorite character and was always a mystery to me. And so when I write, I also I don't know necessarily what is going to come out when I sit down and write. And so I think the story is going in one direction. And it's almost as though there are voices or something guides me. The same thing happens with Sarabi's stories. It's as though her voice comes to me. It's as though I can understand her more by sitting down and putting words on the computer or on paper. And so I really and I feel a need to visualize that. I'm a
Yeah.
very visual thinker. And so the note cards in this particular one, I wanted to demonstrate three women who are coming back together because if you remember in the journey to in the South Wind, it was Granny Rose, Anna Marie, and Krista, the younger woman of the story. And the symbol for three is Trinity, and the first Trinity connected to women and female is the three visible cycles of the moon.
Mhm.
And that also is considered the three cycles of women's life, you know,
Yeah.
maid, matron, and matriarch.
Can you
the
hold it up
three.
just a little bit more? There we go.
Sure.
So we can see that there's three characters here, and there is some kind of ritual or ceremony happening under the full
Yes,
moon, and there's this beautiful kind of swampy bayou landscape, which is appropriate for the book, right?
right.
Because of where
Yep.
New Orleans area. Yeah.
And remember, following the cycles of the moon, in a way, women's lives are maid, matron, and matriarch.
Yeah.
And so these are the three women here who are celebrating the moon and celebrating the swamp and celebrating being together.
Yeah.
And women have always been connected to the moon and the night, which is a magical time, is a time really when we can have solitude or we can be quietly together and we can connect to what's around us. And that's what I wanted my note cards to do, to help connect women to, they may not have thought about the cycles of the moon, may not have gone out to look at the sky, and I want them to go back and look at the note cards as symbolism of what's around you and to connect you to that, and that starts connecting you back to your ancestry. These are difficult times we're in right now for most of all, if not everyone. And I really all the more want these to be healing. The poem, which I'll read at the very end,
Yeah.
which is written by my son and comes from following the cycles. In every book, I have a poem that starts that my son writes related to the chapter.
I'd love to
Um,
hear the poem, Kathy. Can you read it to us before we
of
conclude
course.
here? Great.
Well, do you want me to leave this up for now
Oh
still?
no, you can
Um,
just read it. Whatever is easy. Yeah.
okay, let me
Yep.
let me read it to you.
Yeah.
A new silence alters perceptions as the campfire dwindles to streams. A new grove causes its own deceptions as fading thoughts turn to dreams.
Mm. Beautiful.
I'm so proud of his writing. It's so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. And the
Silence of the Swamp.
beautiful. And every poem then that you're choosing for each of the six cards that go in this series, the six note cards, there's a special poem from inside the book that connects to the image and to the theme. So just there's going to be a series then of six cards, note cards available, and they go with the book following the cycles of the moon. So this makes a beautiful gift to purchase the book and the note cards together, or just the note cards can exist on their own as like a healing, a beautiful like little mini journey for whoever is on the other end of receiving one of these cards. So thank you so much, Kathy, for your creativity and for your presence and your passion to bring forward these themes for the world, especially at this time, and so that we can remember our connection to the elements, to the moon, to the shadow of and the light and the shadow, that we have to exist in all of it and embrace all aspects of life. And we can do it together in sisterhood, which is what this card so beautifully expresses. Is there anything else you want to say as we conclude here?
So, I just, these are available on Etsy. The books continue to be available on Amazon.com. And I hope that as we get into the summer season and I'll be out at shows again, certainly have these in the shops we're in upstate New York and central New York. But I hope to actually be able to physically be with each one of you,
Mm,
and will bring cards with me, and certainly will bring them also as thank you gifts for each of
yeah.
you. So I so value each of you and hope that I've given a few seconds today of healing for you and techniques that you can use to move forward in healing.
Thank you so much, Kathy. Beautiful work.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.